Hello, my name is Kira Walker and welcome to my channel. This video is going to be about how to handle teenagers. I have one and she's 17 years old, and I decided to do this video because I find that there's a lot of information out there for young children, first time parents and toddlers on all subject matters in every situation. But as your kids get older, that information seems to kind of dwindle away a little bit. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a professional, I'm just a parent trying to handle the teenage stage. And I do find it very challenging. I'm better with young children. I'm not so good with emotions and all the teenage challenge that we get. And so let's go ahead and just go through the 5 topics that I want to talk about. And at the top of my list is communication. I remember a time when my toddler just would not stop talking. They ask questions all the time. But when you ask them as a teenager, like a simple question of, hey, how was your day today? And you'll get fine, or a grunt. Or maybe you hit them when they're in a good mood and they tell you everything. But I find that talking and communicating with teenagers is a lot more challenging. And they don't seem to want to tell you anything at times, and you're just an embarrassment and you need to stay away from them. But in my household, I do try to make sure that we have good communication. Any problems we get, it has to be talked through, and I definitely don't like going to bed with things unresolved. And I do encourage my children to talk to me all the time on all subject matters. Doesn't matter how uncomfortable I feel about it. And I think the key thing for me is to really listen and not to be judgmental, because I want to encourage them to talk to me, but I don't want to counteract that with me being judgmental and patronising, and they just wish that they never said anything in the first place. So, which I find very, very hard to do, right? Because when, if you're lucky enough to have your children will open up to you, like I say, it doesn't happen all the time for me, but when they do, it's all about listening and not judging. And so it's communication is key, and I will continue to make sure that always happen in our household, whether they want to talk to me or not. So moving on to my next topic, which is social media. Social media is at the center of every teenager's universe. I don't think they could live without social media. And it could be the best thing and the worst thing for them. I know that sometimes if I see my daughter's upset or, in a bad mood, it's always to do with this little box. I tried my best to push back as much as I could possibly can in not giving her a mobile phone. I caved in when she was 13 years old, and I know that she was one of the last person to have a phone. And I got like a pay-as-you-go, a little pink square phone that you flipped up, and I gave that to her, and she was like, what is this? She was not impressed. And she couldn't get on the internet with it. But as the years went on, obviously we've given her a better model, and the type of phone really matters, right? It has to take photos, certain pixels, and the latest version, it matters to them. But I'm not for competing with other parents. She has got a decent phone now, but she's 17, and goes with that is obviously the trying to control their usage. And I used to make sure that she didn't take a phone to bed, because they could literally be on the phone like all the time. And I don't want it. Well, we didn't want to be one of those family that you go out for a meal and every single member of the family are on their devices and no one's actually talking. I'm not totally against social media, because like everything, is how you use it, and technology is the future. I definitely don't want to be holding her back and stopping her from using social media, because it's there, and it's at the moment it's going to be here to stay, and before long it's going to be, instead of just seeing your friend's face on the screen, they're just going to be projected into your house. So all the virtual reality, is all coming. It's coming. So it's just learning how to use it in a controlled, and be very aware of security and things like that. So I'm moving on to my next topic, which is discipline and boundaries. How do you apply that to teenagers? Because it's definitely a lot harder than telling a toddler go to time out or you're not getting your treat if you don't eat all your food. I tend to take my daughter's phone off her when she's out of line, or tell her she can't go to an event that she was planning to, and take things away from her that matters, because grounding her where she's in her room with a mobile tally, or they have Xbox or whatever, does not work. They spend most of the time in their room. They probably want that space from you anyway, so it's not really much of a sacrifice. But that's what the tools we use to discipline our teenagers. We're having to do less of that, obviously, because she's 17 now, and we're treating her more like a young adult than, your typical teenager that taking items away from them would still work. But for us, boundaries are, if she goes out, it's really knowing what time she's coming back, or texting us, letting us know where she is. Admittedly, we don't actually have a lot of boundaries. We'd like to treat Alicia as a young adult and give her the freedom, to learn that life skills and that life developments. And by having lots of boundaries, I don't think they could do that. And we're quite open when it comes to drinking, because we know they're going to do it. We knew that she was going to start 13, 14, because I did it, like going to get drinks and hanging out in park bench and fields, and that's what teenagers do. But I'm quite lucky that she doesn't actually like fizzy drinks, and she went through a stage of wanting to go house party and things like that, and we used to drop her off and pick her up, and I guess I was open to it because I rather that she was up front and tell me exactly where she is and what she's doing than doing it anyway and me not knowing. So that was a worse scenario for me. At least if she's going to house party, it's slightly in a controlled environment and I know where she is. So we're quite relaxed when it comes to drinking, but at the same time we're quite lucky that she doesn't drink loads, and as far as I know, she doesn't do drugs either. And a bit like myself, like it's they're very exposed to that environment, and I know they could get access to it. I wouldn't know where to start, but I was never into really drugs or anything like that, or even smoking. I just hated it. I hated the smell of it. And my daughter's exactly the same, so I'm not that worried about drugs with her. But with drinks, yeah, she's gonna drink and fall off park bench and all the things that teenagers do. But she's 17 now, and I think she kind of got that out of the system where she's drinking a little bit more sensible. And yeah, so not much boundaries. But moving on to my last topic is things to do with teenagers. I forget sometimes that I have another child, because I've got my youngest son is 3, so I seem to do a lot of stuff with him. Every weekend we were like, what should we do today? Where should we go? Because we couldn't possibly have him at home inside all day. He'll drive us mad. So entertainment and things to do, we take our, babies, toddlers out everywhere all the time. Our life revolves around entertaining them some way. But when the teenagers, yes, they want to be left alone, but I have to remember that they need the time with me as well. And I went out for a meal with my daughter yesterday, and it was just the two of us. It was just so nice to have an adult chit chat and have a nice meal. I mean, yes, doing things with them is a lot more expensive, If you got a teenage daughter, it's all about shopping maybe, and doing day trips that all cost a lot more money than taking your youngest to soft plays and to the farm and things like that. But I do try, and I'm not, I have to confess, not very good at it. I need to try and make more of an effort to, have like one-on-one time or just entertainment time for them. And I felt that it was so important that my children was involved in some kind of activities. When Alicia was younger, we had her in ballet classes, gymnastic, horse riding, piano, lots and lots of things, theatre classes, and eventually she took to jiu-jitsu. She absolutely loved jiu-jitsu. I thought, if there's one thing I could do for my daughter is make sure that she has a passion in something, because having a passion and a hobby fulfills your life. My husband's got piano, he goes to the gym, he does so many things, and it's a good outlet for them. I think, life gets so crazy, and to have a hobby, whether it's a sport, anything, just have a passion and a hobby, gives you that positive outlet in life. And I will definitely make sure that my youngest have a hobby. I like to think that it would be easier for him with him being a boy. Boys seems to have a lot more hobby, and they get into sport a lot more than girls do. But yeah, so entertainment, it's not all about doom and gloom. Oh my god, my teenager, they do get this bad stigma, and I do feel a bit sorry for them, because there's not many places that teenagers could go. We see them as a minor, but they an adult in their mind, and it's just, yeah, it's difficult for them. So entertainment and life fulfillment, all that good stuff, still needs to be, still needs to be done, and I'm working on doing that with them. So this is it from me. I hope you found this video useful. If you like this type of videos, click the like button, give me a thumbs up so I know to do more topics like this, and stick around, check out some of my other videos. If you see the red button, it means that you're not subscribed. Go ahead and subscribe, it's free, and yeah, join the community, and I catch you guys later, hopefully. Thank you, bye bye.